Hi, welcome back. We've come to the conclusion of day 3 of the Southeast Missourian Christmas Tournament basketball. And Rachel, we're down to one more day.
Yes.
You glad?
2 games. I mean, I always look forward to the Christmas tournament for so long. I hate to be so excited for it to be over. so I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. It should be fun.
Sure. There's a lot of great games on tap. We had some really good games on the third day as well. Rachel, what was the thing that most surprised you during day 3?
I mean, I think almost everybody who was paying attention to the tournament said the same thing. Is that the last game of the night there with the lopsided victory for Notre Dame over Scott County Central. I think we all know Scott County Central, isn't what they were last year or whatever, but I did not expect them to be there to be a running clock in the fourth quarter of that game. Really, I mean, Scott County Central just really wasn't able to bother Notre Dame much all night, and if you listen to Kenyon, Scott County Central coach Kenyon right after the game, he said, the Scott County Central offense just never really got going, and they were forced to play in the half court, and really couldn't produce any offense in the half court. So that was the biggest surprise of the day, I think, probably for pretty much anyone who was watching.
Sure. Not to forget about the 9 3-pointers by Orion Junior Cody Moore. That was a pretty impressive performance at the first game of the day.
Right. That was an interesting way to start the day. Of course, it all went for naught. The team lost to Chaffee. Right. That was crazy. Yeah. But he was obviously very hot early on in that game, and he and the rest team couldn't get anything going there in the fourth quarter. But yeah, one of the best individual performances we've seen so far this year, or this tournament at least.
Sure. It seems, Rachel, like like day 4 is a day of rematches. It starts with the consolation championship. It'll be a rematch of last year with Chaffee playing Oak Ridge. Both teams they look good at times on day 3, and at times, well, we'll just say that they look good at times.
Yeah.
How do you see that game shake out tomorrow?
Well, that was interesting because Oak Ridge beat Delta today, and they also were trailing for a big portion of their game, just like at Chaffee had to make a big comeback on Orion, like we mentioned. So how do I see that game? Well, that's a good question. I'm not really sure what to make of that game. Those two teams played a couple times last year. I know, Chaffee won in the Christmas tournament, but then they lost later on in the year. So even though I would say Oak Ridge's roster is more different this year than Chaffee's is. They bring back a lot. These two teams are obviously very familiar with each other. They play multiple times each year. So I think, kind of comes down to the same thing. They're both going to want to get the ball inside to some extent. It's going to be more important for Oak Ridge to get the ball inside, I think. So if Oak Ridge can get the ball inside to Ryan Below, if they can score consistently in there, then they're going to stay in this game because their guard play has really been, the thing that's kind of come and gone throughout the year, and I think what Alex Crow, who's the great shooter for Chaffee, was saying, the key to him getting going today, key to the team getting going today was that they finally got the ball inside to Jordan Yon, and that opened up the outside for them because it's too easy for people. I mean, everybody knows Alex Crow can shoot threes, Right. So while Oak Ridge doesn't really have a shooter like that to kind of counteract it, which maybe gives Chaffee an advantage there because they can do both. I think it's going to be which team can get the ball inside, or conversely, which team can stop the other one from getting the ball inside. So we'll see,
The next game on the docket will be another rematch of last year. It'll be Jackson and Leopold. Leopold is kind of an interesting case in that they looked decent beating Advance today. They struggled against Scott County Central on day 2. Jackson obviously is going to be a much bigger team. They have a whole lot more height. They've got John Meyer in there. Carson King is also a bigger guy. Can Leopold stay with Jackson? Can they find a way to kind of overcome Jackson's height?
Sure. Leopold's not a small team. That's the thing, is that they're going to be bigger some places. Everybody's going to be smaller inside the John Meyer in the whole tournament. That's going to happen. So they're going to have to find ways to rebound. But I don't think the height advantage is so big that it should make the difference in the game if Leopold's playing well.
Right.
The thing about the Scott County Central game is that was not. It was to Scott County Central's credit, they completely took Leopold out of their game, so we didn't really get to see even what they wanted to do, what they were trying to do, anything about it. These two teams, I know they played in the regular season last year and it was really close, and so I think that'll help Leopold give a little belief. One of the interesting things about the Christmas tournament each year is that the small schools get to play the bigger schools and these big, and so. Unlike maybe when they stepped onto the court against Scott County Central, Leopold might have a little more belief against Jackson, having played them before and having, almost beat them, even though they didn't. On the other hand, Jackson beat the team I've been talking a lot about, which was Scott City, and they looked good in doing it, and they did it without Caleb Newcomer, who was out, I think, with a hip injury that he had in practice yesterday. So you can't really discredit that because we've been talking so much about how good Scott City's looked, and Jackson comes out and beats them today. Played really well. So how those two teams match up, I think there's going to be, if Leopold can make some shots on the outside, which they haven't necessarily done this whole tournament, I don't think, then they have a chance. I think that'll be a key.
Third place game, you've got Cape Central playing against Scott County Central, two teams that played for the championship last year. This time it'll be for third place. Completely different styles.
Yeah, exactly. It's another one of
styles.
those games where it's just like, what's going to happen? I don't know. That's the thing. The pressure we talked about did not get to Notre Dame at all because they're kind of used to that. They kind of want to play. They don't mind playing fast like that. They have excellent guard play. And that's the area today, where Drew Church spent a lot of time talking to his guard today during the Charleston game. I would expect Scott County Central's defense, first of all, to be better tomorrow. Not that it was bad today, but I imagine Kenyon Wright will have a way of motivating them overnight. But then I also expect it to have a little more effect on Cape Central. We'll see just how big of an effect it makes. But then the big thing is we talk about, Scott County Central being able to rebound. It continues to amaze me how well they rebound against teams and people that it seems like they have no business rebounding against. But, tomorrow, TJ Tisdale could make a real big difference. I know he didn't have a real impressive first half today against Charleston. I don't know if he played well the whole game, if that would have made enough to make the difference, but he definitely got off to a slow start with along with the whole Cape Central team.
Right.
So if he shows up, I feel like he can really make an impact on that game, and we'll see what happens.
Lastly, the championship game, the 8 o'clock game, the one that we all want to see. We want to see if Charleston can win another title. It's been a while since they have.
2002, can you believe that? I could not believe
crazy.
that, 2002.
The player that really stands out for me, and I know that a lot has been written about him, is Greg Tucker. He makes things look so effortless.
Yeah.
He looks like he isn't exerting any effort at all, and he just comes up with plays.
Right.
Can Notre Dame slow him down?
It's interesting you mentioned that. The thing I was talking, Jordan, who works with us too, I was telling her during the game today, when we were watching Charleston, that it amazes me when you watch them play, the way they talk to each other, and the way it's just like they're picking you apart slowly. They don't ever none of them really get in a rush. None of them really get frustrated at all. They just talk it through, run their plays, listen to their coach. Danny Farmer's not up screaming and shouting. He's given a little bit of a direction here and there. They're just such an experienced, under control, it seems like really smart basketball team that, Notre Dame could go on a 10-0 run, or Notre Dame can throw different looks at them, or Notre Dame can run and get some easy passes. It's not going to bother them.
Right.
It doesn't seem to me anyway. I've seen no signs that anything is really going to bother them. And when it gets down to crunch time, Greg Tucker's the one they turn to. Obviously, he's got an immense amount of talent. He makes the whole game look easy. Before you know it, you look up and he's owning the last 3-4 minutes of big games. So that'll be a big key, I think, if it comes down to a close game. That Charleston has him to lean back on. Now, obviously, Notre Dame has some really talented players too, and Nathan Mystad has been great, and he'll probably continue to be great tomorrow. So, of course, Notre Dame has a chance. I mean, we saw them play him not that long ago. Charleston did beat Notre Dame on their home court, right? Not long ago, but I think the popular statement among Notre Dame fans is, well, there was one bad run in there. One bad run. Well, the thing is, Charleston's probably going to go on one run, So tomorrow, maybe they can stop that one run, but then also can they reply back, And that's, I think, where both teams are real mature mentally as far as I can tell, but Charleston's just been there. Yeah. So, we'll see. It should genuinely, I really genuinely think it will be a good game. Playing in the Show Me Center will be, I think there'll be a big crowd on a Friday night, and it'll be great. Sure.
And if Notre Dame can shoot, especially from long distance, the way that it did tonight against Charleston, that'll be a big help. It'll be an enormous help.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we talked about Notre Dame can play inside. They have,
Right.
you know, Cody Heiser, Joe Siebert, and those guys. They're not pushovers inside. They're not, but neither team is really gonna feed the ball inside out.
Right.
I mean, they might
Right.
use that to get something going on their offense, but that's not really the point, you know. So they're both gonna need to make shots. That's kind of what they do, you know. So obviously, if Notre Dame's able to shoot better than them tomorrow, then all the better. So, but certainly, I think to have any chance at all, Notre Dame will have to shoot well.
Sure. That's all for us here at the Southeast Missourian offices. We'll be back at the Show Me Center for the final day of the Southeast Missourian Christmas Tournament. You can catch all your coverage here on Semoball.com. And we'll have one last wrap up after the championship game after day 4. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day.